Hello, welcome to the third video of this mini-series analyzing transactions, and in this video I want to go a little bit more into detail about accounting numbering system. Like I said before, accounts are always grouped in similar manner. Assets start with number 1, liabilities start with number 2, owner's equity start with number 3, revenue start with number 4, and expenses start with number 5. So that means that each account that belongs to expenses, for example, would always start with the number 5. So I just want to show you how to find the correct number of the account that you want to use. So a chart of accounts, as you can see, it's quite a long list. In this one, for example, it's not even 100% complete, and we have 175 lines. How do you find the one account that you have to use? Well, the good news is many of these accounts you can actually adapt them to your needs. This is something that I created here just as an example, and therefore that means that many of these accounts you'll never have to use. But how do you actually find the right account? How do you find the right code of the account that you need to use? Now, let's imagine that, for example, we have a basic transaction, like investing, the very first transaction, which is investing in a business. Let's imagine that I have a person A, all right? And person A decided to invest $10,000, all right, in the start of their business. And that means that this is the very first transaction that they do to start the business. Typically, this transaction, just to let you know, we will use two accounts. One is called common stock, which is a owner's equity account. The other one would be cash, which is an asset. All right. So I'm going to go into detail later on about how typically this transaction would be done, but for now the objective is to find these two accounts, cash and common stock. Now, cash is an asset, so therefore I know it will start with number 1. Now, if you don't want to use the whole table here like this way, you can start very simple. All right, we're going to start, for example, just with the level 0, which actually I already placed it here as separate, okay? So I have to think, cash, what kind of category is it? Is it asset, liability, equity, revenues, or expenses? Well, I know it's assets, so for sure this account will have to start with number 1. Very good. Then I go to level 1s. Now, level 1, I just expand this list, but basically now I show all the subcategories that belong to assets, all right? So here I have cash and cash equivalents, investments, and financial instruments, receivables, inventory, accrued assets, property, intangible assets, goodwill, and other assets. Now, out of all of this, I know cash for sure will have to belong to this one. Why? Because it says there, cash and cash equivalents. So now I know that it will be account 1.1. Now I know to the second level, and I find my 1.1, here it is, and now I have to define out of these 4 which one it will be. And here I have cash in bank and on hand, cash equivalent, restricted cash and cash equivalent, and other cash items. In this case, it would be this one because it's cash on hand or cash in the bank. And therefore, now I know that my account cash, the code for that account, oops, where did I put it? Here. The code for this account would be 1.1.1. And that's how I found my cash account. Let me place it here rather. There you go. All right. Now let's do the same process but for common stock. Common stock will be, well, let's see this again, assets, liabilities, equity, revenue, or expenses. Now in this case I know it's equity, owner's equity, because I told you at the beginning anything related to the owners is always equity. So now I know that this account will have to start with a 3. All right, let's go to tab 1 now. So I find my 3, here you go, and now the question is, which one of these do I have to use? Is this something related to owners, partners, or stockholders? Is this something related to retained earnings, accumulated other comprehensive income, other equity, or equity attribution to non-controlling minority interests? In this case, it will be related to the owner, so for sure it will be 3.1. Okay, now I go to my level 2 and I find my 3.1 and I have to scroll down a little bit. Here it is. And now I just have to see, is this common equity or is this preferred equity? And in this case, it's common equity. So now I know that my account level is 3.1.1. And that's how I find my account numbers. All right. All right, that's it for this video. Thank you very much. If you have any questions about how to use chart of account, let me know on the comment section below. And in the meantime, I'll see you on the next video.